Hello and welcome to today's video in which I'm going to discuss and try to answer the question of why are Persian carpets, Persian handmade carpets, so expensive. Right now I'm in the possession of one of the most valuable Persian carpets I've had in a long time. So I thought I'd take this masterpiece here as an example to explain and showcase the value of one of these fine Persian carpets. So this is a 10 square meter, a very large piece, 10 square meter carpet. It's semi-antique, meaning at least 60 years old. It's insanely fine. It's made from the finest materials. It has the highest knot counts that are pretty much possible. And it is signed, it was produced and signed by Sadek Serafian, one of the most prominent members of the Serafian family, which is the most exclusive, famous, collectible, sought-after brand and family manufacturer for Persian carpets. So this is really the top of the food chain when it comes to Persian carpets. It doesn't get more valuable than this. If you ignore those museal pieces that are 500 years old, those pieces are even worth even more. But when it comes to fine Persian carpets produced in the past century, it doesn't get much more valuable than this. And that's why I'm going to use this masterpiece here to explain the value of a Persian carpet. And this piece, even though the rug industry is not really what it used to be 20-30 years ago and the prices are down, still this piece was extremely expensive for me to purchase. Was also extremely expensive for the buyer. So this piece is sold. I'm gonna pick it up and ship it to the buyer soon, but I still have it with me, and I'm gonna take the chance to take some pictures and videos with it. So even though the industry is not very good, not in a very good state, pieces like these are still extremely valuable and expensive and sought after. So this carpet is 10 square meters in size, and it has roughly 1.2 or 1.3 million knots per square meter, meaning 1.2, let's say 1.2 million, and 10 square meter in size. That would result in 10 multiplied by 1.2 million, resulting in 12 million knots in total. So this carpet was made from 12 million handmade knots. So weaver sat there and put 12 million knots inside the loom to produce this carpet. And the skilled weaver can do between 5 and 10,000 knots a day, depending on how efficient he is, depending on how fine the carpet is. The finer the carpet is, the less knots he can do per day, because the knots are smaller and it takes more time to put and to perfectly place those little knots into the loom. So it's more likely that the weaver could maybe do 5,000 rather than 10,000 knots a day. But let's say he was extremely efficient, quick, skilled, and was able to do 10,000 knots a day. And let's say this carpet, not let's say, it's a fact that this carpet has 12 million knots. So if you divide 12 million by 10,000, which is the number a weaver can do, the number of knots a weaver can do a day, the result is 1,200. 1,200, that's the number of days it would take one single weaver, one very quick, efficient and skilled single weaver, to weave this carpet. 12,000 days are roughly 4 years, because 1 year has 365 days, and of course you have weekends, you have holidays, you have days off. So I think a workload of 300 days a year is realistic. So if a very skilled weaver was weaving this carpet, it would have taken him 4 years to weave this single carpet. 4 years, nearly half a decade, probably more than half a decade, because he probably wasn't able, with a carpet of this knot count, he probably wasn't able, or she probably wasn't able to do 10,000 knots a day. And that's only the weaving process. So we already have 4 years of physical labor, of somebody highly experienced and skilled, not just anybody. Like, to weave a carpet like this, you need to be a very experienced, skilled weaver. So we already have 4 years of work there that cost, obviously. And that's not all, that's by far not all. So producing a carpet is not only setting up a loom and weaving it, there's much more involved. There is the planning involved, which means design. you need a designer. So every single Persian carpet, I'm sure this is something a lot of people have heard about, they're all unique. And even though it's not like every single carpet has a unique pattern that was never used again, but when it comes to these fine masterpieces by, for example, by the Serafian family, they really did not produce too many pieces of one design. So they created one design, or rather they had somebody create a design, and then they decided on a certain number of carpets that would weave from that design. And when it comes to these larger pieces, there's a good chance they only produced once. Like they only created a design and produced it once. And creating a design like this, it's not like you just have it, or you can just do it in a day. Producing or creating, drawing a design like this, and back then they were actually physically drawn, is a very, very difficult task. It's something very few artists were only able to do, and it's something that also took a lot of time, because you need to know that every single small plant, every little detail in this carpet needed to be hand drawn and adjusted and made symmetrical and everything. So it took an artist a lot of time to draw a design like this, and the artists that designed carpets like Serafian carpets were very, very skilled, famous, reputable and talented artists. So the artist that designed this carpet was most likely Ahmed Archang, who was one of the most famous rock designers of the mid 20th century, and he designed many carpets for the Serafian family, and it must have taken him several months at least to draw up a design, create a design like this. And again, he was a famous, skilled artist, so he wasn't cheap. So the Serafian family, the producers, they had to pay a substantial amount of money to Mr. Archang, to this designer, to draw up the design. So now you have the design, which cost you a lot of money because somebody took months to create it. Then you have a weaver who's going to take 4 years at least to weave the carpet. But that's still not all. So you need to provide the weaver. It's not like the weaver can just weave the carpet. You need to provide him with the materials. So you need a loom where you pull all the fringes, and you need the wool. And as mentioned at the beginning of this video, this carpet was made from the finest materials out there. So the pile of this carpet consists of Manchester merino wool, which is the finest wool that was ever produced and ever used in carpets. It's the wool of Australian or New Zealandian young sheep, merino sheep, of just a certain part of their body where the wool is extra soft. That wool was then sent to Manchester, England, where it was spun and very, very professionally prepared, and then was sent to Iran. So this wool was extremely expensive, extremely soft, enduring, and just the highest quality wool. Like if you could be here and feel this carpet, it feels like silk. It feels like heaven. It's the nicest, one of the nicest fabrics you can touch. So that wool was then sent to Isfahan, to Iran, after it came from Australia all the way to England, back to Iran. And when the wool arrived in Iran, it needed to be dyed. And as mentioned in my video about the Serafian family and about what makes their carpets so special, one thing that makes their carpets so special is that the dyes they use are amongst the highest quality and most robust and durable natural dyes. So no chemicals involved, natural dyes, meaning you would gain when like the red color, for example, from pomegranate or something. So all the colors were dyed, all the wool was dyed using natural ingredients, and this process is much more time consuming, much more expensive, but the result is a type of dye that will last much longer than a chemical dye, because chemical dyes may look very nice on like the day they are produced, but they fade over time. And a carpet like this of 60 years old, if it was chemically dyed, it would for sure be faded by now. Like many parts of it would be faded. It wouldn't look the same. But the good thing about Serafian natural dyes are that they don't fade. They really don't fade, and also natural dyes are much more stable, meaning they don't bleed. When you wash the carpet, they won't bleed, but when you have chemical dyes, they will bleed. So this process of dyeing the wool is a very, very expensive and time-consuming part in the preparation of producing a carpet, and again, it's a huge cost factor. And but the Serafian, that's why they are so collectible and sought after and valuable and expensive, is that they don't compromise on actually in any part of the production process. So again, we have the wool dyeing process that is also going to take time and cost money. And the carpet is made from the pile is made from finest Manchester merino wool dyed with finest natural dyes, and the whole foundation of the carpet, meaning the fringes, are made from pure silk. So also pure silk, as everybody knows, is the most expensive textile in the world. It's the most luxurious textile, and so the whole foundation of this carpet, the fringes, and they run all the way through the carpet, are all made from pure silk. And again, you can imagine silk is not free, so there's another cost factor. Then we have the workshop that needs to be provided, so the weaver needs a place to weave the carpet, which also costs. And then it's produced for a few years. When it's done, it's still not 100% done. Then it needs a final shearing, a finishing process, which is a different process. This process is not the most expensive part. It only takes a few weeks, and that's when the work is finally finished. And at this point, many years have passed. The producer has only had costs, like only had investments in, didn't earn any money yet. And only now, after many years of production and preparing and spending money, he finally has the final product that he has to sell. So he had to put all the money up front to finally, after years of work, be able to sell a carpet. So you can imagine it won't be cheap, because the producer needs not only to get back all the money he got, but he also needs to get a profit on top, of course, for investing all this money, spending all this time, and also he wants to make a living. And Serafians are exclusive brands. They, of course, they demand a premium. So same way you buy a Rolex, you also pay for the brand. So you can imagine a carpet like this is not going to be cheap. There's a lot of work put inside it, and so you actually get something that really has a value. Like, you can really sense the amount of work and product and quality and just the effort and the sweat that went into producing a carpet like this. And even though the price may sound extremely high, the moment you're offered a carpet like this, it's actually usually pretty low compared to all the work and effort that went to in producing a carpet like this. So this carpet, it originates, I acquired it from a private collection, a Swiss-French private collection, and it was originally acquired in 1973, so more than 50 years ago. And at that time, it was purchased from that previous owner for I think exactly 40,000 Swiss francs, which of course there's inflation. So if you convert that amount into today's money, it would be more than 100,000 US dollars, which at the time is a amount of money that could buy you a house. So basically, this carpet cost as much as a house. But then again, it took longer to produce than a house, because a house doesn't take 6-7 years to build. A house usually takes maybe a year or two to build. So even though this carpet used to cost an incredible sum of money, and it still costs an incredible sum of money, not 100,000, but still a lot of money, it's really the quality, the effort, the artistry, the material, the brand, and everything that went into producing such an art piece. And so yeah, this was just a story of how one of these fine Serafian carpets are produced. And of course, I mean, this carpet being 50 years old, 60 years old, and not 50, like it was purchased more than 50 years ago, so at least 60 years old, being produced by one of the famous artists of Persian carpets who passed away about 2 decades ago, it also holds a historical value, which is something that collectors consider, and that also adds value to the carpet. So there's an incredible amount of value inside a carpet like this, and even though when you on first sight when you see a price tag on a carpet, you think like, this is ridiculous. How can a carpet cost this much? You can think of all the effort that went into it, and realize that actually the prices usually are quite reasonable. I'm not saying you should go out there and just spend ridiculous amounts for carpets, because most carpets are overpriced. Like, most dealers are demanding way too large premiums for their carpets, and it's not like every carpet out there is a good offer. But this video should just give you an idea of all the work that goes into producing one of these high-end Persian carpets. So yeah, I hope this was helpful, and yeah, see you in the next video.